The best stories that I know of don't just tell, they transform. They make an impact, an emotional connection. And that's been my belief for many years, whether it's in my own business or working with entrepreneurs and creators and visionaries to help them uncover their truths and align their brands and connect their audience on a deeper level. And so now I've decided to take that mission a little bit further. Every week, I'm going to bring you a thought-provoking podcast, just by me, a monologue, if you will. I'm going to support that with a blog post, and I'm going to send out a weekly engaging newsletter, which I hope you will read and subscribe to. And this isn't just about creating more content and proliferating your inbox. This, for me, is a journey. It's a journey that I've uncovered on my own in the last 15 years of sort of introspective look at who I am and how I show up in the world and really understanding the value that I can potentially bring. And for me, this is a chance to explore a little bit deeper this intersection of personal growth, professional excellence, and the art of storytelling, which is never a bad thing for anybody. And this series isn't just about me, it's really about us. It's about unpacking the messy, beautiful, and squiggly truths that sort of sit behind what really takes to build a brand and build an individual and grow a business and lead a life that feels meaningful and aligned. And if you're tuning in, it's because maybe you want a little bit of that too. So here's what you can expect from me each week: a podcast, either a monologue with myself, like I'm talking about now, or a brilliant CEO or entrepreneur or purpose driven leader, as you've been listening to for the past few months. And we're going to dive deep into podcasts that matter, from leadership and entrepreneurship to branding and mindset. It's all on the table. And then I'm going to support that with the blog, and then I'm going to support that with the newsletter. So each piece is designed to meet you where you are, whether you're listening on your commute to work each morning, reading over coffee, or just catching a quick video of one of my shorts in between meetings. I believe truly, deep down in my heart, that clarity changes everything. When you truly understand who you are and what you stand for and how you want to show up in the world, you can unlock something really powerful. And that's what this series is designed to do, to help you uncover the clarity and the insights and take it into every part of your life and your business. Because I truly believe you cannot have growth in one area without the other. How you show up on your personal side of your life is how you're going to show up in your business. So, whether you're here to build a better brand, lead with more purpose, or just figure out how to connect the dots between who you are and what you do and the value that you bring to the table, I've got your back, boo. So, hit subscribe to the podcast, join the newsletter, read the blog on the website. However you choose to engage, I promise it's going to be worth your time. So, let's keep the conversation going. Let's build something meaningful together. I will see you on the other side. Okay, Marielle, this is the standard weekly intro. What I just recorded at the outset was sort of an introduction to what this is going to be. So I will only want to use that in a video format on the first episode of this thought leadership. Does that make sense? Let me know if you're confused. All right, so here goes the audio for the standard intro. Welcome to this week's solo episode of the Branding Laboratory. I'm Deevo, your host, and today I'm going to take a brief moment to step away from our usual guest format to share something straight from me to you. And I'm going to do this every single week. I'm going to dive into a quick, focused monologue that's packed with ideas and strategies and reflections that are here to inspire, provoke, and maybe challenge the way you think about your brand, your business, and your life. This is your chance to pause, reflect, and pick up actionable insights that will help you grow, not just as a professional, but as a leader and as a human being. So let's jump in. Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to the Branding Laboratory. I'm Deevo, your host, and as always, going to dig into the intersection of who we are as individuals and how that shapes the way we lead and how we show up in the world. And today I'm going to tackle a concept that was prompted by my daughter in an essay she is writing in college, and she interviewed me and wanted to know my opinion on leadership. And trust me, it's not what you think it is. I have given this a lot of thought over the years and have seen a lot of different versions of leadership in my career, from corporate life to sports life to playing football in college to the variety of coaches that I've had to the number of people that I've worked for to the number of people that I've collaborated with. And so I've seen a lot of different styles of leadership and I've read a lot about it. And not that I'm an expert on anything, but I'm pretty well informed on this. And I think I'm just going to sort of step back for a little bit. For many years, at least of my trajectory, I thought that I had leadership figured out, and I had a specific, very specific opinion on what it was: titles, accolades, recognition, captain of the sports teams, corporate officer by a very early age, CEO of two companies, sold one of them for a decent amount of change. And I have a pretty solid resume, and I always thought, well, I'm a great leader. I've always been in positions of leadership. But when I reflect back on my life, none of that actually necessarily makes you a leader per se. It's some of the aspects of leadership for sure. But what I was flaunting wasn't leadership. It was ego wearing a shiny badge of honor. And I thought it'd be fun to sort of unpack this conversation that I had with my daughter on what I see leadership today and what it really is to me. And it's not centered around the myths or the hype that I think we're taught, especially here in Western society. Be the leader of the class, be valedictorian, be star of the sports team, captain of the cheerleaders, whatever it is, CEO, and all those things are leadership. I'm not trying to denigrate them, but I want to talk about the raw, messy, transformative version of leadership that for me really kind of embodies what a true leader is. And leaders come in all different sizes, shapes, and colors. But it's not about being the loudest voice in the room or having the biggest megaphone or the most power or the most authority. It's not about always calling the shots or controlling everything. Leadership, um, as most of us have been conditioned all our lives to see it, is a myth to me. And if you're still chasing that myth, if you disagree with me on this, that's fine. But I think that you're part of the problem that we have with leadership today. And if you look around in our society and the people that we call our leaders, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's our government, which is an absolute crackpot, whether it's the corrupt politicians that run our communities, whether it's the corrupt CEOs that are embezzling money and defrauding taxpayers and the common citizen, whether it's people who work for safety organizations that are destroying communities in times of great need. I'm looking at Western North Carolina. I'm looking at California right now. I'm looking at Maui. I'm looking at all these people that were supposed to come in and lead and clean things up and help things up. And those are not leaders. Those are not leaders. And the crazy thing about leadership, and this is what I was telling my daughter, life doesn't give you a leadership manual. It gives you squiggly lines and curveballs. It hands you failures. And for me, those curveballs, those failures came through several failed business opportunities, failed relationships, a gut-wrenching divorce, and of course the chaotic and very humbling experience of being a single father for over 15 years now. And leadership lessons didn't show up in my victories, as I talked about at the outset. They came in the moments when not, life kicked my ass and knocked me down, and I had to ask myself very difficult questions. Age-old philosophical question: Who am I? What do I stand for? And how am I going to show up differently tomorrow? Because we always have a choice in how we respond, and that's part of being a leader. How do you respond in situations that are not ideal? And one of the things I've learned through this entire process is that leadership is not linear. It is a squiggly motherfucking line. And there's a lot of U-turns and a lot of adjustments and a lot of tweaks, and it's iterative and it's messy and it's humbling. Above all, it's extremely humbling. And if you're not self-aware to acknowledge that and stay in touch with that, then it's going to get messier fast. So if leadership isn't about titles or power, then what is it? What is leadership? I think it's about showing up, truthfully. I think leadership is about showing up truthfully every single day, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's difficult, even when things are not moving in our favor, even when you're scared out of your mind, even when you have fear chasing you around the corner. And leadership is about admitting when you're wrong. It's about learning from your failures. It's about choosing to do better next time. It's about making the choice to live a better version of yourself in every moment. And sometimes that is a very long, drawn out process. And it's not about perfection. Let me just reiterate that a couple of times. And I said this to my daughter over and over because she thinks that leadership was about perfection in some way, shape, or form. And it's not. It's about being genuine to yourself and to everyone else around you. It's about knowing who you are as an individual, owning that piece, being self-aware enough of who that is, what that looks like, and creating space, most importantly, for others to do the same. So whether that's in relationship, whether that's in a business partnership, whether that's in your husbandry or your wife, it's about distilling your values into actions and allowing the other person that you're engaging with to do the same. And let me tell you this piece that I've learned. It is a buttload of work. It's not easy. It takes courage. It takes time. It's a process. It takes a willingness to sit with yourself and ask, am I really showing up in alignment with what I say I believe and that I tell other people? And am I showing up every single time and being consistent about that? And one of the things another thing that I wanted to share, and this is what I told my daughter about leadership, is that it isn't about you all the time. It is about you, but it's not always about you. It's also about the people that you serve. That's what leadership is. Who are you serving? Who are you supporting? Who are you also helping grow? Who are you leading into greatness? And true leaders build trust through this process, and they foster collaboration, and they create environments where other people can thrive. Whether that's your children, whether that's your partners, whether that's your mastermind group, creating environments where other people can grow and expand, and in the process, bring you along with them or you along with they. It's a collaboration. And they don't just make decisions, leaders. Leaders are not just involved in this grand decision maker, but good leaders do make good decisions and good leaders make decisions emphatically. I do want to clarify that. But good leaders empower others to make decisions for themselves so that in the process, again, everyone is growing. You notice there's a trend here, like there's a common theme here. Leadership is serving and supporting other people. And in this process of leading and supporting other people, you don't succeed alone. You allow other people to also share the limelight. And the best leaders, and if you look at the history of some of the best leaders in the world, they surround themselves with people who also challenge their leadership or challenge their individuality and inspire them and hold them accountable. And it's not about individual glory, it's about this collective success. It's why I launched my mastermind. It's why I've gotten into coaching. It's why I have shifted my business into supporting and empowering other people, because I believe that relationships and collaborations and community is what leadership is all about. And if you can foster that and create this community of people around you where you're all participating and all supporting and all holding each other accountable and all lifting each other up, that's what leadership is to me. So when you strip it all down, when you take all these things that we just talked about and you strip them down and like pull back the covers, leadership is not about power. It's about purpose. Let me say that again. It's not about power. It's about purpose. It's not about commanding others. It's about inspiring other people. It's not about accolades that you collect. It's about the impact you make and the legacy that you leave behind you in the wake. And the most important part of leadership to me isn't something that you necessarily arrive at. It's something that you practice. It's the process. It's daily. It's a choice that you make. It's how you respond in every situation over and over and over again. And how do you consistently show up to do the work, to align your actions with your values, even when no one's watching? And that's one of the things I tell my children all the time. It's like, it's one thing to do great deeds in the quiet of your home or when other people are watching. Sorry, let me re-say that because I kind of messed up. It's one thing to do great deeds when other people are watching. It's another thing altogether to do great deeds when no one's watching. And those great deeds don't necessarily need to be these amazing courageous events. Leading is walking into the kitchen and seeing that there's a sink full of dishes and nobody's there but you and cleaning them up. Leadership is keeping your own room clean. Leadership is showing up and waking up every morning to go to school, or showing up on the football team or the lacrosse team or the gymnastics team or whatever sport you're playing. Leadership is showing up for yourself and for the other people that might be depending upon you. So that's what leadership is to me. And I'm going to leave you with a thought that I asked my daughter the same thing. How do you want to lead today? How do you want to show up? I don't mean in your job. I don't mean in your LinkedIn profile. I don't mean in your fantastic Instagram. I want to know, how do you show up in your actions, in your relationships? And how do you show up for the people that count on you? Whether it's your employees, whether it's your collaborative partners, whether it's your mastermind group, whether it's your friends, whether it's your wife, whether it's your spouse, how are you showing up for them? How are you making yourself indispensable in the sense that you're providing value to them and inspiring them and holding them accountable and they holding you accountable? And that's what leadership is to me. It's all the things that we just talked about. So if this conversation sparks something in you, please share it with other people. Send this episode to someone who might need to hear it. And if you're ready to dig even deeper into what it means to lead with genuine authenticity and purpose, please head over to thebrandstoryteller.com for some more insights and resources. I publish weekly blogs. I try to sort of center around this ideation of becoming a better version of yourself in every way, shape, or form every single day. It's not just about business, it's about personal and professional intersection and all the things that we do. It's about relationships, it's about how we show up in the world. And there's a lot of cool thought seed on there and thought leadership. And I would appreciate if you would check it out. And if you like it, share it. If you need some additional information and you're looking to expand your brand or whatever, here's my shameless plug. Holler at me. Send me a DM on social media or straight up from the website. And I would love to connect with you. Anyhow, thanks for joining me in the lab today. It was a sort of a deviation from having a guest on the show, and these sort of thought leadership things are really what I'm trying to put out more of once a week. So until next time, I'm Deevo, reminding you that who you are is how you lead and how you show up in the world, and how you lead is how you grow. And I empower you to create the best version of yourself in every moment, in every way, shape, or form. See you on the other side.